guys, so I just wanted to stop the episode real quick just to let you know that there's a trigger warning on this episode. There is mention of suicide and death, so if that is something that would bother you, please click off now, and thank you for listening as always.
Hello.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Welcome.
To the 50th episode.
Episode 50.
Why do we both go there? My gosh.
The first thing we think is to pretend to be an air horn.
I will say, prior to this episode, I had a short thought. I was like, oh, we should play... Remember the episode of iCarly? I was like, iCarly's 50th web show, spectacular.
Yes.
I had a bit with that, but I couldn't... I didn't feel like finding it. It's as simple as that.
That's so funny you say that, because I was listening to another podcast the other day, and their second episode was all about them, like, creating a jingle for it.
Yeah.
We don't have a jingle.
I feel like our hello is a jingle. Hello.
Yeah.
And a what is it? A mystery.
A mystery.
Yeah. I think those are sort of jingly, but they're not like a whole
I guess
phrase.
just like an intro to like the show, you know?
Yeah.
We should have that.
Our hello is an intro.
What?
Our hello is an intro. Hello. Whatever we do.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
The only thing I have, like, in the beginning of the episode is that weird piano music, the...
I mean, we can get a new jingle. We can have Benjamin. We can make an actual jingle.
We literally know a music guy.
A music
guy. And we haven't asked him to make a jingle for our podcast.
Yeah, like we have the intro song, but that's not jingly. We need like a fun, goofy one that's like kind of scary, kind of cute, lighthearted.
Yeah, like lighthearted and cute, but if we talk about a missing person, it doesn't feel unhinged.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
like
it's
the perfect balance.
Perfect balance is scary and adorable.
Yeah.
But you have that kind of vibe. Mystery Files is like scary and adorable vibes.
Yeah, it's like we're like
cute little ghosts.
We're either like your little siblings or like older siblings that you just love to hear their like quirky facts, and
we just love to get possessed,
mysteries.
You know? We just like a little quirky thing. It's like getting possessed.
I mean, I feel possessed when we do the podcast. Like, I become a different,
like,
different person, because this is me. Like,
yeah.
I'm saying what I want to, but I just go into podcast mode, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's like, I must speak now. Hello.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's wild. We'll go, like, for an hour and a half sometimes, and then I come out of it, and I'm like, where am I?
What is this
What
world?
day is it?
A beautiful universe.
Like... Okay. Yeah, so this is episode 50.
It's episode
and I'm just
50.
so excited. I know that there's more from the radio station days, but it's just so exciting. We're on like the 50th now
of the podcast. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I feel like we're also uploading and also making more stuff than what we used to, especially considering last year, because like there was sometimes like out of our control, but it was like 3 weeks to a month before a new episode was up.
Yeah, there was just a lot of different stuff going on last year, and like different jobs taking us different places, and it's just nice to be here and have like a consistent thing going.
But also at the same time, we have a lot of stuff going on for us. Like, one, I think like we have a much bigger following than from before, so we appreciate you all for listening to us.
We love you so stinking much.
We like just this is what we've always wanted to do, like just be able to give that back. So it's just it's nice.
It's sweet. And for those who are new, we should introduce ourselves. I feel like we never do that.
Yeah.
For the people, I'm Tiffany.
I'm Logan.
This is the Mystery Files. This is the summer tapes, technically, but yeah.
The summer tapes, but it's a very special episode.
It's a special episode that you're gonna find out real soon why it's so stinking special.
It's so funny because I don't know the case, but I know the subject. So this is weird.
Subject.
Because we've only done this one other time where I've known, and that was the Halloween special.
So, for those of you who don't know, we are in the middle of the summer tapes, but we're kind of taking it a whole different route for the 50th episode, so it's kind of another spin-off. I'm not going to give it away just yet, but we have a whole little spin-off thing that we're going to start, and I'm so stinking excited about it.
Yeah, like a spin-off inside of a spin-off, but it's still inside of the series.
But yeah.
But I think that's fine, because, like, we talked about this before, but, like, the last podcast on the Left, right, up, down,
on the east.
On the East Coast.
The Wicked Podcast of the East.
They have like such wild titles for their stuff. It'll be like episode 26, part 2, version 29, and it's like, oh, so you can just do whatever you want.
They got it all going, and I just want to go off that inspiration and just start making more like spin-off type things. Because I guess technically the Summer Tapes is a spin-off, and then we have we just started at the Campfire? Is that what it was? The
Campfire Stories, yeah.
Yeah, we have those for our little special guests, but we have a whole new one coming in, so it's not really the Summer Tapes, but we got a new one to start off for this whole 50th episode.
It's just so exciting because we got so many new projects in the work. We're doing new things. It's a great time. Yeah. And then just want to give a little promo like we usually do.
Yes.
Please follow us on the Instagram at @themysteryfiles_. There is a link tree in there to our merchandise, and I believe it is also listed down below inside of this episode. As well as please vote for us for Best Podcast of 2022 in the City Paper of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, for Best of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I was waiting to see if you remembered the City Paper.
I
should have.
Yeah, I was like, I could get there.
Yeah, you did great. So yeah, make sure to give us a vote for Best Podcast because we're one of the top 10 finalists, and we're just happy to be considered and be a part of the finalists. So if you're in the area or you just want to vote for us, definitely go ahead. We appreciate and love all of our listeners, even the new ones, all of you.
If you want to see me and Tiffany's beautiful faces holding an award, you should go and vote for us.
We're so beautiful.
We get no votes.
I know you can only hear us, but trust me, we're kind of cute. I don't know.
We are.
In our humble opinions.
We're a little adorable.
We're just little cute little ghosties. Can you imagine? What if we were like Halloween Town? Like we're the monsters. We're actually monsters, but they think we're humans because we're only being heard.
That checks out. That would check out.
We're actually monsters.
That's why we're so on the money every time we do a supernatural case.
Like
probably.
That's so weird.
Because we know them. We've been to the Dover Demon went to my family reunion.
He's at my prom. Like what?
Yeah, literally Mothman was my date to homecoming.
He's literally my uncle.
Wait, I went up to homecoming with your uncle?
He can be young. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with
I was a young uncle. I was a young uncle. I became an uncle when I was 13.
See, so Mothman?
Young uncle.
That's who I said is at my prom, right? I lost the
bit. Yeah. Homecoming.
See? Shows how much I'm really paying attention.
My gosh.
But yeah, welcome guys.
But yes, this is the energy we are always giving, and this is episode 50, so this is the time to give it, baby.
Yes, and I'm so stinking excited. So whenever you're ready for the little drummy roll, I'm ready to go.
Alright, I'm gonna act so surprised like I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Ready?
This week on The Mystery Files, we present a new series, and this little series is called The Warren Files.
Bum bum bum.
Presents The Haunting of the Perron Family.
Yes.
So we're gonna have a whole Warren Files thing where we're basically covering different cases and Lorraine Warren, the ghost investigators, have covered in their time.
Which is so wild. I didn't even know it was that, like, in detailed with them. I didn't know that they... Like, I knew a lot of the... These are the Conjuring movies, right, too?
Yeah, a lot of the Conjuring movies are... Well, all of the Conjuring movies are based on Lorraine Warren cases.
I didn't realize that. I didn't know they were based off cases like they did. I thought it was just, personally, like, just writing. Like, I've seen the Conjuring movies, but you're definitely way more... invested into them and like knowing that kind of stuff, so it's just like exciting to see, and I'm excited to learn more because I feel like I've kind of known only a little bit, so it's nice to get like
the true facts behind the Conjuring movies, and like it isn't even just the Conjuring movies that some of these cases are from. Like there's other cases like as well as like the Amityville Horror is one of the most popular cases they've also done,
which we talked about
briefly.
Haunted films.
So there's like other stuff presented in the media.
They're the cover photo for that, aren't they? No,
that's the couple. That's
the
like
couple, not
and Lorraine Warren, also a couple, but
also a couple, just like us. And me and Mothman.
You and Mothman are actually in love.
Benjamin's listening to this like...
It's like, shut up.
He's ready to fight.
It's like, please quit it. But yeah, so this is The Warren Files presents The Haunting of the Perron Family. Also, I just want to shout out Nadia out there because she is actually obsessed with Ed and Lorraine Warren in all that they do, so I kind of want to dedicate this series to Nadia.
Aww.
So I told her last night that we were doing this because I was like, Nadia, you're going to love this.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, but let's get into our little intro, shall we?
Yes, please.
So, I would like to kick off the 50th episode of the Mystery Files with the beginning of this new spin-off series based on the films in the Conjuring movie franchise and other popular cases that have been done by the Warrens. These films are inspired by real-life events and real cases that the husband and wife paranormal team of Ed and Lorraine Warren actually investigated. In the spin-off, we'll be going through true hauntings behind these films. I believe there's no better place to start than the first Conjuring film with the haunting of the Perron family. So this is the first Conjuring
haunting
film.
of the Perron family.
Yeah, so if you've seen the first Conjuring movie, you're probably pretty familiar with this idea. But yeah, so I'm first going to introduce who were the Warrens, so people can have an understanding in the next upcoming episodes for this.
Get to know the cast.
Who are Ed and Lorraine Warren? So they are. According to New England Society for Psychic Research, Ed Warren, his last name is Miney, so they just call him Warren, but Miney was his initial last name, M-I-N-E-Y. He was born in Bridgeport.
Who's the leader of the clan that's made for you and me? M-I-N-E-Y. M-O-U-S-C.
Oh, I was like, I thought this was a Mickey Mouse bit, but I couldn't quite tell, and I'm more excited than it was.
Cease and desist for Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney World comes for me.
Ed Warren is Mickey Mouse. So he was born in Bridgeport in 1926. Less than a year later, Lorraine Rita Morin was born in the same city. The couple married in 1945, and in 1951 they gave birth to their only child, Judy Warren. Ed served time in the Navy during World War II, and upon returning home, studied art at Yale's subsidiary art school, Perry Art School. Ed and Lorraine traveled New England, attempting to make a profit on Ed's paintings. But along the way, it was said that the two would often make stops at haunted locations, which were often the inspiration for Ed's artwork. There was said to have been a catalyst for their exploration into the paranormal, the society says.
So they're like travelers. Like they love to go cross country selling his art.
Looking for inspiration, selling his art, kind of just like looking at different stuff to inspire him. But they've always been into the haunting things.
Think they had like a big like van thing, and that's like they have like all the art in there, and they just like pull it out, and it's like a little shop on the side of the road.
For a second, I honestly thought you were gonna say they had a van full of ghost hunting equipment, and I was like, "What is this, Danny Phantom?"
They could also do that.
They actually
could have both. Like we have some ghost equipment if you're also interested in buying that.
We have paintings and ghost equipment, so we can exercise your demons and create beautiful art for you.
God, I feel like this might like come up later in it, but I feel like this would be a lot of inspiration for a painter having a lot of ghost stories.
They see more. They see. They have an understanding of the world.
Okay.
So, speaking of an understanding, Lorraine was actually said to be clairvoyant, meaning that she was reported as having been able to see and gain insight on cases through supernatural abilities, so sort of like medium abilities. She was also considered a medium, which means having the ability to communicate with paranormal entities, according to her biography on the New England Society for Psychic Research website. And Ed was a self-taught demonologist and a devout Catholic. So he was actually very religious and like then went on to do all this demon stuff. But it came from like a religious place, so it makes sense.
Like I feel like with religion in mind too, that's where like a lot of like demon cases like come from. Because if you believe in religion, you believe usually in like darkness,
and
evil, like good versus like evil, like that in that sense.
Especially being like a devout Catholic, it makes sense because if he were seeking like trying to exorcise demons and stuff, it would make sense that he comes from like a religious background to be able to like actually do this. Although I'm pretty sure they mostly had priests come with them that they were doing like exorcisms and things.
Yeah, and it was usually a priest from like the Catholic Church, right? Cause, like that's in the Conjuring movies too, right? There's like this one where they're like, we need to get a priest from the Catholic Church, like
it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was a devout Catholic, and in 1952, the Warrens established the New England Society for Psychic Research, which is credited as the oldest paranormal research organization in the country.
No way!
So, according to New England Society for Psychic Research, the Warrens conducted over 100 individual paranormal investigations during their time. So, they've investigated a lot of stuff.
How many?
100.
100?
Over 100.
Wow, we're halfway to beating them.
We're halfway there. So clearly they have a lot of experience in doing this kind of stuff. So it makes sense that we would do a whole Warren Files thing on them. So although I don't think there's going to be
we're not going to do all 100 cases.
No.
It'll probably be like 3 to 5, you said, I think.
Yeah, probably 3 to 5, maybe 6. There's a couple.
But also we can revisit
ones.
whenever we feel like it.
Yeah.
It's our show.
It's our show. So every once in a while we'll just throw one out there. I think it'll be a nice thing for us to go back to in the fall. But that's kind of a little brief summary on who the Warrens were, if you're unfamiliar.
Over 100 cases is quite impressive,
so
though.
They got experience. They got some experience under their belt. They know what they're doing. And it brings them to the Conjuring House. So, you people out there might be like, who and what was the Conjuring House? What haunted the Conjuring House? Well, I'm gonna get into that. You know,
I'm gonna tell you.
I got the whole background here, and I'm so excited. So, what haunted the Conjuring House, you may ask? Bathsheba Sherman is what people believed to have haunted the Conjuring House. So she was like a fearsome demon that is also said to have terrorized the Perron family that lived there. So some believe that she was a witch who worshipped Satan and was related to Mary Easty, a woman who was hanged in the Salem witch trials. So they think that she's either a demon, or she was a witch, or she was related to one of the witches in the Salem witch trials.
Oh, wow.
So, like, she's got experience, you know? She's something from somewhere.
And if the, I feel like we always go back to this. If I've learned anything from the Scooby-Doo movies, if you're related to a witch,
you're a witch.
You're a witch.
You're a witch. If you're related, you're a witch. So she's either a demon. Demons obviously aren't from humans. They're from Hecky-Wicky. So she's either that. She is not a person dead, essentially. She could either be a demon or she could be a witch. So that's kind of who they think she is. Others believe Sherman, when she was alive, if she existed, murdered children in 19th century Connecticut. So they think that she has like this terrible past.
The same demon person.
If she was a human, if she wasn't a demon, there's also history of a Bathsheba Sherman actually existing. So they think that she did like these terrible things. So
just like she's on a mission to just cause
wreak havoc
harm
in life and death.
Yeah.
Like she just has darkness in her. So as for the actual historical records, they confirmed that a Bathsheba Thayer was born in 1812 and would later marry a farmer named Judson Sherman in Connecticut before birthing a boy named Herbert. The legends, meanwhile, claim that she was later caught sacrificing her son to Satan with a sewing needle.
Whoa.
So while doing that,
that's
she...
Sorry, what? No. That's like factual, like that.
Yeah, there's records of that. So
that's crazy. Sorry, continue.
I know.
That is wild.
When she was doing that, she was also cursing all who dare live on her land, and she supposedly climbed a tree and then ended her own life. So there was something going on with her. It might have even been like maybe she was possessed and this kind of stuff happened. It could be any amount of things, but either way, she had darkness in her, whether that was of her own invitation or something else.
Well, no, yeah, it sounds like almost like kind of like deal with the devil, like kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like doing something like that.
Deal with the devil, or she was
or
into
like
dark
literally
witchcraft.
Just like that spiraled into evil and darkness. Like,
like it was a darker side of witchcraft. So I know there's witchcraft out there that isn't necessarily that.
No, there's like good witchcraft.
So she could have been messing with something really dark, and that's what led to like all of this really messed up stuff. So then, according to paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, Bathsheba Sherman promised to haunt anyone who would go on to occupy the land where her home once sat. So the couple was contacted by the Perron family, who had moved onto the property in 1971. Household items had begun to vanish, and their children were supposedly visited nightly by a malevolent female spirit. Their eldest daughter, Andrea Perron, has since chronicled her traumatizing childhood in a book called House of Darkness, House of Light. While skeptics say that the Warrens are mere profiters of the unexplained, Perron has yet to waver from her story. But to separate fact from fiction when it comes to the true story of The Conjuring, one must return to the life of the real Bathsheba Sherman. So we're going to get more into her. So this is the legend of Bathsheba Sherman, deeper.
Okay.
So, by all accounts, Bathsheba Thayer was her name in real life, had a relatively contented childhood. She would grow into an envied beauty and tie the knot at 32 years old in 1844. Her husband ran a profitable produce business from his 200-acre farm in Harrisville, Rhode Island, but the community would soon see the newlywed wife as a threat. Bathsheba Sherman had been babysitting her neighbor's son when the young boy mysteriously died. Local doctors established that the child's skull had been impaled with a small, albeit fatal tool. Despite the fact that Sherman was the last to tend to the boy, the case never went to court and local women were enraged. According to legend, Bathsheba Sherman's son would never celebrate his first birthday, as his mother stabbed him to death a week after he was born. So, very clearly, like, very, very dark stuff that she had done.
You said, like, the other women in the town were like furious. Like it was probably a lot of other mothers too.
Yeah.
Like just angry.
Like suspicious. Like what happened to the son of the other family that just suspiciously died, and they found like a little hole.
Yeah.
So it just.
Oh yeah, that was probably like the local community wanted like.
They're like, why is this boy mysteriously dead after being in your care? Like it doesn't add up. So they have their suspicions about him, and then obviously her murdering her son. Like it's just not good.
No, yeah, not at all.
As his mother stabbed him to death a week after he was born, her confounded husband is said to have caught her in the act and witnessed her vowing allegiance to the devil before climbing in the tree and ending her life. So she did all this terrible stuff to her son, said basically all this stuff about, I'm not even going to say it out loud, allegiance to the devil.
Yeah,
and then,
you're trying to not side something with the devil by accident now.
I was gonna paraphrase her sayings, and I'm just afraid of that, so I'm not.
You immediately after saying that get up and find a tree, and I'm like, Tiffany, get down from there.
Please don't do that. I love God. Please don't. Every time I talk about the devil, I'm like, I love God. Please don't.
You're like, sorry.
Don't consider this anything, Satan.
That is wild. I feel like on a more even because I like to play with the idea of logical stuff too. Yeah. It sounds like she could have had a full mental breakdown after that happened, and after you do something just like that dark and evil, going up a tree to ending your own life is I feel like the only option she probably saw in her head this is it, I'm too far gone, this is enough, so it's just very interesting because even if it wasn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if the devil wasn't involved at all with it, it's still a really wild story, and how she came to an end is even crazier too.
If he wasn't involved, then she clearly was in a very dark space mentally to do all that terrible stuff and then start rambling all this crazy stuff and then to end her own life. She clearly wasn't well.
But I feel like a case can be made again for both sides of it. Yeah. The paranormal too, especially if she is haunting that house. Yeah, and literally her saying, I'm going to haunt this house, everyone lives here is going to be cursed, da 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 da. Saying these things before she dies, it's almost like Satan was working with her and is kind of do these things and telling her to do all these things, and she just follows, and that's why she so easily did all these things and then ended her own life, because she wanted him to take her. Yeah, no, exactly. And for her to work for him. So yeah, really dark, messed up stuff. Just but wild. So while some claimed that while some claimed that they had 3 other children, no census records of this exist. So some people claim that she also had 3 other kids, but no one ever found. But there's no record or indication that that's even true. Just the one son. So some remain convinced, however, and that none of these siblings lived past 7. So they believe all these kids died. They never had a chance to be on full record. Yeah. They still have a birth certificate. I feel like they would. Well, maybe not that far back. They might not be recorded. Yeah, birth certificates are a fairly new thing, aren't they? They're not super. I'm gonna do a quick Google search for that. Yes, I need to know the truth. Because this was back in around the 1800s. I'm Googling it right now. Definitely tell me. But ultimately, Bathsheba Sherman's story remains largely unsourced, while records claim Judson Sherman died in 1881, and I believe that was her husband. So, with Bathsheba Sherman's tombstone in downtown Harrisville revealing her date of death as May 25th, 1885, her alleged suicide in 1849 appears utterly fabricated. So some people believe that, even though this person did live, the numbers don't add up, and they don't believe that she actually died from taking her own life. Oh. There's a lot of, speculation of different things happening, but, was this just some crazy story that was fabricated, or did this actually happen? But a lot of people do believe it happened. Yeah. But it's really hard to find the facts. And what did you find? Did you find the... Yeah, sorry. No, you're good. The first U.S. birth certificate was handed out in the 1900. Okay, so probably no. 1900. So there I guess that she could have had 3 other kids because there's no birth record of that. There's no true understanding of how many kids or how many people were in. No, exactly. States, so that's there could be genuine theories about that. That makes sense if she was hiding them or something like that too.
What also makes you concerned about how many, like, I know that we've talked about it in, like, past episodes and things, how, like, the 1970s were a popular time for, like, serial killings and things, but I feel like back then, I feel like it would have been so easy for stuff like that to happen and, like, nothing really came of it because people aren't...
Oh, yeah, 1800s was even, like, worse
like,
than
nothing is kept record
covered.
of, like, enough for people to miss, like, oh, that whole family's gone, or, like, I mean, maybe, like, adults and things and older kids, but... I don't know. No actual records of that.
I mean, like, a lot of more of, like, small-town hysteria, paranormal activity, like, 1800s was, like, huge for all of this kind of stuff. Especially witchcraft, too.
Yeah,
witchcraft was, like, a huge thing in the 1800s. That's, I think, it was the most prominent, like, worry in just the world.
I'd been scared of witches back then, too. If there was people
I'm
like
scared of witches now.
I like nice witches, Teehee.
I like nice witches.
All you scary witches.
Yeah, I like a good witch. I live with like a kind of witch, a good witch.
Yeah, she's basically like a nice witch.
Yeah.
Kind
she's
witch vibes.
Yeah.
Aww. But yeah, hey, go check out our what is it, the Salem Witch Trial episode?
Yeah.
Speaking of witches,
that one's a good episode.
Might as well plug it. It was pretty good. That was your episode, right?
yeah.
10 out of 10 experience. But back to Bathsheba. So basically, the Perron family haunting and the true story of The Conjuring. We're gonna get into that now. So past a little more Bathsheba. Financially strapped truck driver Roger Perron was overjoyed to close on the modestly priced 14-bedroom farmhouse in 1970. So this is now jumping forward all the way to the 70s. Our beautiful 70s.
Oh, great! It's literally you were just talking about the 70s, and now like we're hopping.
Now we're right
it.
there. So imagine your cute little 70s people.
This is set up for this is formulaically a perfect Mystery Files episode.
Yeah, it's all of our dreams. Well, not all of it, but
yeah,
the ghost part.
Not our dreams, but fun to investigate.
I like cute hauntings. I don't like all the stuff that she supposedly did in her life. The ghost. So, nice.
Let me find her.
Let's find her.
I'll find her in the afterlife and beat her up.
Don't bring that energy in here. She's in
she's
in all the way from Rhode Island, and I don't want all that. Stay in Rhode Island, Bathsheba. So the family moved in the following January. His wife Carolyn and their 5 daughters had transitioned into the new house well, until odd noises started emanating from empty rooms and items started going missing. So it's already off to a weird start. I feel like the noises you can kind of chalk up to the standard excuse, it's an old house, it's cracking, you know.
That's just the house settling.
But then stuff starts going missing. You're like, well, there's a lot of young kids around. Not young, but like, young kids around. They could probably misplace things. You kind of chalk that up to the kids and stuff, you know?
Exactly.
So then, the children began to speak of spirits visiting them in the night. One was a boy named Oliver Richardson who befriended Andrea's sister April. Cindy saw them too and reminded a saddened April that these spirits couldn't leave the house to play and were trapped indoors. So this is a whole other spirit that we don't really know where this came from, but...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so his name is Oliver, a little boy named Oliver.
That's not the same boy. But what if it's one of the 3 boys? Like, I mean, not 3 boys. What if it's one of the kids?
It could be. It could be one of the kids, or I thought you might say if Bathsheba is a demonic spirit, you could also portray herself as a younger.
Oh yeah, because they can like
do that too.
Do that like pretend to be younger kids.
Manipulate you. So that's a possibility. And then obviously these little girls are like, oh my gosh, a little boy like
to hang out with.
Like, why can't he come outside? They're just sad. Like they're sad for him because they think it's like a fun little thing. And they start talking to him. But this is one of the daughters. Her name is Andrea. She said, "My father just wanted them to go away, to pretend none of it was real, just a figment of our imagination," said Andrea. But it started happening to him too, and he really couldn't deny it anymore. So that was a quote from her, and you're gonna hear a lot of quotes from Andrea. She's like the most outspoken one of the girls.
And that's the oldest sister? No.
I'm not sure what her like placement is in like the.
But daughters. The older sister had written a book before about her experience.
Oh, then yeah, if she's the older one, Andrea.
Is she?
Andrea did write the book. I don't know if she's the oldest.
Okay.
If I did say that, then
you said the oldest, so
then
like yeah.
Good old
you're like it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of information here.
That is okay. I was
There's
just
like 4 daughters. I'm like, Carolyn. So Carolyn Perron was finding neatly piled dirt in the middle of rooms she had just finished cleaning, with no one at home. Meanwhile, Andrea was being tormented nightly by a malevolent female spirit with a bent neck she believed had been hanged. So, it started off with a little boy, and now they're literally seeing...
Oh, so now it's, like, transforming.
Now it's something much more terrifying. And also, all you Haunting of Hill House people, bent neck lady, is this what the inspiration came from?
Probably.
Because I'm currently reading Haunting of Hill House, and there's no bent neck lady in the Haunting of Hill House. Mm-hmm. Unless, well, I won't tell. But this sounds more like the bent neck lady in the actual show. So for those of you who know, no. But yeah, she was basically seeing this woman by her bed with the bent neck lady. So Andrea believed it wanted to possess her mother to kill her and her siblings.
Oh my god.
So imagine like you're just a young kid and you start seeing this really evil spirit and you're led to believe it wants to possess your mom. And your mom wants to kill you.
Well, it's probably like threatening that to like the kids too, just
like I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, I would on God, I'd be fully crying. Like if a demon was like, I'm gonna do this to your mom.
If I saw it once, I'd be like, I'm staying with friends. I'm not moving back until that thing's out of my house.
Yeah, I'm gonna sleep in the bathtub or something.
Yeah, I'm a wimp. I can't deal with that. I don't know how these kids in the 70s dealt with it. They didn't have media to show what it was.
They didn't have a Netflix show to turn on and fall asleep and...
They didn't grow up with haunting shows to know what that was.
They got the one television in the living room.
They said black and white. It's probably
That's not black and white. This is
if their family couldn't afford it, it could have been black and white.
I don't think they were even making TVs in black and white.
They might if they were older. So whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for the position, said Andrea Perron. When Carolyn Perron heard of this, she contacted a local historian who told her of Bathsheba Sherman and that she enjoyed starving and beating her farmhands. So now we're learning more about Bathsheba in the historical records, that she would starve and beat the farmhands that worked for her.
So she's just...
So she's just bad. She's an awful person. She's just
an abusive, terrible person.
Yeah, and now her energy resides in the house, so that's great.
Oh, that must make Andrea feel like so much more comfortable.
She's like, I love my house.
That's the house of a very horrible person.
Live, laugh, love in my home. No. So the record showed that the Sherman farm had been in the same family for 8 centuries, and that many who lived there died, oddly. Drowning, hanging, murder. So like crazy... weird things happen to people who live there.
Oh, just like multiple times.
Yeah,
like
so
over and
it
over.
said same family for 8 centuries.
Oh,
so like
no, that's a pattern.
It's a pattern. And if it was the same family, like it also makes you wonder if there were more witches in the line, if she was a witch, if that's part of her story.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why so many weird deaths and things happened on the property.
Yeah.
So, convinced that Bathsheba Sherman was haunting them, the parents contacted the Warrens. A self-taught demonologist and self-described clairvoyant, Edna Rain, respectively agreed with that assessment. The couple conducted a seance in 1974, during which Carolyn Perron allegedly got possessed and nearly died.
Oh my god.
So, there was this whole thing. Imagine literally witnessing a possession, and the person almost dies. That's actually horrifying. For it to get to that point.
Who was the one that was possessed?
Carolyn, the mom.
Oh, wow.
So... the kids have heard the claims of I'm going to possess your mom and she's going to kill you.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, like, she was true on her word. That's, wow.
She kept it for sure. If you've seen the movie, go ahead and watch that scene. It's at the end.
I think I've seen the movie, but it's been
we need to rewatch it. That's literally one of the most horrifying scenes. That scene in the movie, and then there's a scene with, like, the demon on top of the bureau.
I remember. I remember that.
There's, like, certain scenes that have stuck with me throughout the years, and those two were it. So go check it out.
Again, you and I both should have not been watching what we were watching at a very early age, and that's why the show exists.
I was just talking about this the other day. I'm like, I should not have been watching this.
There are reasons why I should not have watched The Hills Had Eyes at
I haven't seen that one, thank God. Thank God I'm, like, mentally well enough to not have seen that. I've heard bad things. And now I'm too afraid to watch it. So, according to Andrea Perron, her mother's body contorted into a ball. Her mother's scream led Andrea to believe she had died. She claimed that her mother was possessed for several minutes and was slammed against the floor with her head. Her mother was temporarily unconscious before returning to her former self.
Whoa.
So, I thought I was going to pass out, said Andrea. My mother began to speak a language not of this world in a voice not her own. Her chair levitated and she was thrown across the room.
I remember that, I think, in the movie.
That's all in the movie. But I'm like, just imagine as a child literally watching this. I would not be well after that. And also, how do you trust the person is, like, fine after?
Yeah.
How are you positive they're not still possessed and pretending?
Even if the mother did, like, come back from that, imagine how much pain she probably was in. Her body, like...
going through that?
Like, balled up and, like, got thrown across the room. Like, she probably, like, came out of it and then just, like, immediately felt pain.
Yeah, also, it said, like, she was thrown by her head into the floor.
Oh, my God.
So, like, the amount of like, she probably was very concussed.
Yeah.
Also, like, all of your weight being thrown head first, you're not gonna be great after that.
It's just wild to me that like, even, like, happened, though. Like, this is based off, like, true, like, event. Like, that's just so wild.
And it also just goes to show you, like, this was a very powerful spirit, regardless of what it was. Yeah. And that kind of leads me to believe that it was a demon and not, like, a ghost of a person who had died there, even if she was a witch.
Because you always see, like, little glimpses of, like, what a spirit is capable of, but you never, like, see, like, that full kind of capability, usually. Like,
so seeing that. So... I mean, I guess it might make sense if she was a witch, because if she was working for Satan, it makes me wonder if...
It's not like she's, like, a regular spirit. She's, like, a supernatural spirit who has magic powers.
Yeah, like, it leads me to believe that when she took her life, due to being under the influence of Satan, after she had passed, it's almost like he took her soul and used her outer representation form to then commit these terrible things, like, as a ghost.
Well, different subject altogether, because, like in Chilling Adventures of, like, Sabrina, they're, like, a different type of, like, witch coven that supports Satan. Like, it's, like, there's different types of ways to worship Satan, apparently. But in that one, it was very much like, if Sabrina ended up, like, signing a deal, like, with the devil or, like, committing to him, her powers would be, like, unstoppable kind of stuff. And I wonder if,
it could be that kind of thing if she is a witch.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're a powerful witch now. Imagine if you had, like, the devil's magic.
If you had me, like, we could be unstoppable type thing. And I'm like, I don't like that.
That is wild.
So horrifying. So, as chronicled in her book, in Andrea's book, Bathsheba's Search for Evil documentary, Andrea Perron's father kicked the Warrens out for good after that. So, after this whole, like, possession thing, he was like, I don't want... it was because
of them.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want you guys in my house anymore. Like, this is too much to deal with. So, the Warrens returned only one more time to ensure that Carolyn Perron had survived the seance. They were worried that, like, after that she might not live.
She might have passed,
So, the Perron family was forced to live in the house until 1980 due to financial reasons. So, imagine...
So, 10 years.
Imagine staying in the house...
For over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Also, it said it was a seance. I don't know if that... It doesn't sound like that means that they cleared the house of the demon. Seance is like trying to summon, if I'm correct, right? Seance is trying to summon a demon.
Usually, yeah. Well, they were probably trying to, like, cleanse the demon out, like...
The whole time, yeah. But,
that's just...
Having to live in that house after that, like, what year did that happen again? It was in the 70s, so staying until 1980.
Yeah,
because
you had to. 10 years. And that makes sense why Andrea wrote a book about it, because, like, she was probably there, like, during, like, her most, influential years, like the most impressionable you are as a kid.
Like, imagine going back to your childhood, and like, I know people have traumatic childhoods, but like, imagine going back to your childhood, but the trauma was literally stuff you couldn't even see, really. Like, you could see like figments, but it was a lot of crazy experiences you had to deal with growing up with ghosts and demons. Horrifying. Literally. You're not gonna be like well psychologically after that, I don't believe, at least. Like, it's gonna take a lot of therapy. So, ultimately, the presence of Ed and Lorraine Warren has become fodder for skeptics who may have good reason to dismiss them as frauds. So, a lot of people believe that they're frauds.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they did 100 cases. They're onto something. But the story in general has been streamlined and exaggerated for the Conjuring movie. The true story of The Conjuring remains unknowable, while Andrea Perron claims to remember every terrifying detail. Wow. So, a lot of the stories are passed from, like, these kids, but Andrea remembers a lot, like, every single detail.
Wow. Because, like, even when possessed? Like,
she remembers the seance of her mom.
Just imagine, like, feeling like you're still in your body, but you can't do anything about it. Like, a shell of yourself.
Like, I don't know if her mom remembered, but she remembers, like, watching it. She remembers, like, because it was the daughter. Like, Andrea remembers everything. So, like, obviously, she's going to have all these...
Andrea, sorry. Oh my gosh. Andrea's
You're fine.
the daughter.
But it does make me wonder if Carolyn, how much she remembered of it. Because I feel like stories I've heard of people who have been possessed, they don't remember much of it. It's like blacking out. Like, they remember feeling, like, awful.
Yeah.
And, like, very drained and everything. But they don't remember the whole possession because obviously their body was being taken over.
Wow.
But...
And again, like, I know, like, Andrea wrote a book about it or anything, but, like, I doubt, like, as a kid, you're really thinking about how can I market this under capitalism. Like,
you're not doing that. And all these kids had the same experience. And, like, the parents and Ed and Lorraine Warren have stuff to back it up. It's like, what would give them reason? And if she was in the room for that happening, and so was, like, the father and all this stuff, I don't know. It just seems very much like on the side of, like, it did happen. Yeah.
Even if, I think at the worst, like, the Warrens, like, at their absolute worst, were just, like, over-enthusiastic, like, paranormal hunters. Like, if I was, like, doing them a disservice. I don't think they, like, made a fake story
like,
or,
I feel
try
like
to...
For people who don't believe, it's probably just something for them to say because they don't believe it themselves. Like, it's so much easier to dismiss something like that as a fraud because you don't personally believe it. Like, I know plenty of, like, skeptics out there, people who just don't believe, and I'm like...
Yeah.
But you can't just dismiss someone else's legitimate experience.
Especially if she was a kid.
Yeah, what good would she have making up something like that? Like, she wouldn't even have any memory recall to grab something like that from, because this is one of the first, like... Yeah. All these experiences are, like, documented from this time. Like, there's not, like, crazy stories like this, like, she's being told every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's just, it's what we've talked about before, how, like, you and I have had experiences of, like, ghosts when we were younger, but it was, like, that weird moment of, like, where you can tell the difference between your imagination and reality, and it's just so weird, because it's, like, if you feel that in your soul, it's, like, you know, like, authentically, even if somehow there was a possible way it could have been faked, like, in your heart, it's real to what happened. It's real to you, yeah.
Also, like, you have siblings, so you understand this. Like, it would be so hard to get every single sibling on board to be like, hey, you should say there's a ghost.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, for all of them to, like, be so scared of something and have their own genuine, unique experiences and then come out and say, like, this is what happened.
Siblings have alliances together, like, under, like, a type of trauma or, like, things like that, but they will not... It's weird, because siblings will, like... go up to bat for you, but also if they think you're being a stinking liar, they will tell your mom and dad.
They're like, shut up, stupid, that's not real. Yeah. Like, it's so, like, if it's real, they're going to, like, say, hey, this is real. Yeah. Or they're going to so easily be like, you're an idiot, that's not real, stupid, grow up. Like, it's sibling love, but...
It does make me, like, a little glad, though, that the siblings did have each other, like, through this.
For something so evil, like, I feel like love...
Like, there had to have been a lot of love coming out of that, just, like, having that alliance. Because, like, I know for me, even just, like, in random, like, school bullies or stuff like that, like, having that alliance with your siblings is so fun.
Like, it gets you through, and, like, this family seems like it was pretty tightly bonded. Like, we'll get into it a little bit, but there was stuff with their parents weren't always doing great, but the siblings always had each other, so... So it's, like, nice that they kind of stuck together, and we'll get into more of, like, some happy little things that happened along the way. Like, some of the kids have, like, sentimental feelings towards the house still, even with the terrible stuff that happened.
Nostalgia for, like,
it's like, are you well? Why do you like your house?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it, like, a little bit. Yeah. I hear him.
So we'll get into it a little bit, but... Andrea also claims the film took liberties, like adding blood or replacing the seance with an exorcism. So, I guess this wasn't really an exorcism. It was actually a seance, like trying to get the ghost to come and show itself. So, in the movie...
But it ended up becoming an exorcism. Like, they were trying to summon the ghost to get rid of it, but instead it took the mother's body. Yeah. Carolyn. There's a lot of names, and it's all old names. Caroline. So there's a bunch of names, but Andrea's like the main girl you're going to hear of most, one of the daughters. Andrea's our protagonist.
Yes, and there will be an interview with her, so I'm going to go through all that too. Okay. Like, for those of you who don't know, this episode is kind of hard for me to put together if you want to know the details. Because there were so many different articles, and a lot of them weren't giving me all the information I needed to complete this episode.
Yeah, you did a lot of research for this one.
So yeah, this is a lot of research, and it was fun to like get a full understanding of what really happened, so I'm just excited to keep going deeper with you guys. Hey guys, this was part 1 of the investigation of the Warren files, the haunting of the Perron family. So part 2 is already up. If you would like to check out the rest of this case, you can do so there. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much.